Hello everyone. This will be my last video from this location as the topic of today's video is our current house sit, number 4. The location of this house sit is just like our previous one in San Andrés, Huayapam, a small village just outside the city of Oaxaca in Oaxaca, Mexico. The duration of this sit has been 4 weeks. We're leaving in a few days, so I wanted to get fully caught up with our house sit videos and get this taken care of before we get on the road for our next couple. It was booked via the Facebook group House and Pet Sitting in Mexico. In this instance, I posted our availability to the group, and our house sit host contacted me and explained their situation. So it wasn't a case of my responding to a call for a house sitter, but the house sit hosts contacted us because she liked what I had posted. As with our other house sits, it is a no money exchange, no sort of compensation. We are trading care for their animals and watching their home in exchange for staying in their home while they are away. And speaking of their animals, we'll get to the good stuff here. We are watching a small army here. We have 8 dogs and 3 cats. They are all rescues. And of course the first question is going to be, how on earth did they end up with 8 dogs and 3 cats? They actually have 9 dogs because they took one on vacation with them. If you watched my previous video about dogs in Mexico, or maybe you already had an understanding that there's just a lot of dogs in Mexico. And I sort of had to laugh to myself when she was explaining to us how they ended up with this dog pack. And basically her and her husband and their daughter just are animal lovers and rescued a few dogs, and then they became known as people that take care of animals. So people started bringing them dogs and cats or injuries, and it just sort of became a thing. And I laughed to myself when hearing that story because it just reminded me of me and Evan back in New Orleans in the lower Ninth Ward, when we were collecting wood to make all the biochar to fill our garden beds. We became, I guess, known in the neighborhood as the people who like to burn things, because we would just get knocks on the door from random people and say, hey, my fence blew down in the last hurricane, you want all that wood? So we would take that wood. It would save them from the hassle and cost of having to have it hauled off, and it would give us more wood to burn, to turn into biochar, to grow plants with. So I can definitely understand, you just do something that you care about, and then you become known in the neighborhood as the person that does that thing. So they have just a great dog pack, and we're going to get into that in a minute here. We will talk about Wamba, Petunia, Blue, Yuki, Ñyek, Momo, Felíx, Florinda, Tinkerton, Ping, and Chachalaca. Our responsibilities for this house sit are, of course, food and water, which for this group just involves keeping all the dog food bowls and the cat food bowls full with dry food, as well as the cats get wet food in the evenings as a treat. And we are also at dusk every day feeding between 4 and 7 of the outside neighborhood dogs, which you can see a little bit more about in my last video regarding dogs in Mexico. Of course, we're also responsible for companionship, and these dogs go on a 90-minute daily hike straight up the side of a mountain. So we're positioned here right on the edge of the village. We leash the dogs up, get all their harnesses on, their leashes on, get him out the door and walk him on a leash for a short distance on the road before we basically reach the edge of civilization. Leashes come off, and we hike up the side of a mountain in what's basically a nature preserve, and the dogs just love it, even though they're a wide range of sizes and ages and ability levels. You know, the young, energetic ones just run laps around the slow, older ones as we make our way up the mountain. And the majority of this video is going to be, of course, pictures of the dogs, and then video of our daily routine, which is centered around this daily morning hike. A few days prior to this sit starting, one of the dogs, Florinda, who is an elderly Chihuahua, came down with some digestion issues and wasn't going to the bathroom. So one of our first responsibilities here was monitoring Florinda, and then we ended up taking her to the vet. We gave her antibiotics by mouth twice a day for the first, I believe, 5 days, and then we took her back to the vet, and after she got a shot of anti-inflammatory, that really seemed to do the trick, and she went from being a somewhat grumpy, obviously backed up little lady to just being super friendly and chipper, and she just prances along on all of the hikes. And besides the animal companionship, we're responsible for a small amount of yard work. We just have to scoop the poop out of their yard, and we've done some sweeping and some raking outside. Plants growing on the front patio, and a little bit of a backyard and a compost pile in the back. And they chose to hire a housekeeper while we were here, just because, as they said, they wanted our focus to be on caring for the animals. So once a week we've had a housekeeper come in, and she just washes these beds, washes the bedding, sweeps and vacuums up all the dog hair, and just basically takes care of the animal part of the home maintenance. So of course, you know, we were doing our own dishes and laundry and that sort of thing. But it was really nice for watching 11 animals to have someone come in and just sort of take a little bit of that weight off of our shoulders while we were here. I would say the perks of this house sit are almost identical to the perks of our last house sit, in that it's a long-term sit. It's 4 weeks here, but when we combine it with house sit number 3, which was just before this, it's a total of 10 weeks in this one small village of Huayapam. And the village itself, having a home base here in this adorable little village, is obviously another perk. So having 10 weeks total here, just in 2 houses a short distance from each other, has been really, really great. Also, like our last house sit, this sit, the hosts have become new friends. So we were able to come visit with them a couple of times, not only just to meet the dogs, but to have dinner and talk, and making new connections like that is really important when we're considering moving here. We've been traveling for so long, we're in a new country, so it's been really great to have them as friends, as well as to make connections for more house sits in the area. So these house sit hosts were the ones who referred us for our previous house sit. They're trying to help get us some more for the winter, and we're already booked to come back here in October and November. So they've helped us make a lot of connections for future sits. And of course, when will we ever get to live with 11 pets? So, you know, it's only been a month, you know, so if things got a little overwhelming, we could be like, well, it's only a month. But for the most part, it's been absolutely amazing, and it's an experience that we'll never forget and maybe never have an opportunity to hang out with this many animals and be accepted into such a big dog pack again in our lives. Okay, moving into some photos here. This is a view of the village from our hike up the mountain. The yellow church there is in about the center of town, and just for frame of reference, I would say our previous house sit is just on the other side of those trees there. This is another view from our hike up the mountain, overlooking a number of small farms, freshly plowed and freshly planted. There seems to be a lot of local fruits and vegetables available in the stores, and I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of them were grown right here. Part of the area that we hike every day has these cow companions. The cows are actually used in farming here, so we have occasionally seen them being walked down the road to their fields to plow, or see them plowing a field in the distance with the cows. Another cute cow on the horizon. Here we see the dogs off leash. You can see that even though they're different sizes and different ages and abilities, they're all pretty good about staying in a pack. The younger ones run up ahead and run back, while the older ones just slowly make their way up the hill. This is Wamba and Ñyek, the two biggest dogs. Petunia. This is little Florinda. She's the smallest one, and she likes to stop and eat ants, which is also a delicacy here. They make a salsa out of ants. Here's Momo and Blue. Blue, Wamba, and Yuki taking a break. I decided with our first house sit to give a gift to each one of our hosts in the form of a photo gallery of photos of their pets and their house that we took during their stay. So this is my series of pet portraits of each one of these critters. Here we have Wamba, Petunia, Blue, Yuki, Ñyek, Momo, Felíx, Florinda, Tinkerton, Ping, and Chachalaca. We were fortunate to be staying here in Huayapam during the transition from the dry season to the rainy season, so we get a lot of beautiful, sunshiny days with clear blue skies, but we also get a lot of really great rain and fog, this mist on the mountains, and a lot of nice overcast days that really helped green up all the landscape just overnight. So now I'd like to move into some videos and show you what a day in the life with 8 dogs and 3 cats is like. They very much have a daily routine, and they expect us to follow their daily routine. So we're going to start off with first thing in the morning. As soon as we wake up, Wamba, the big one in the back, takes it upon herself to get everyone riled up. We are going for a walk right now. And it's just hilarious to me that she's silent the rest of the day. It's just first thing in the morning, she is in charge of getting everyone ready to go. Eventually, her barking turns into this if we don't comply. If we don't want to go for a walk right at 7:30 a.m., we learned that it was possible to get her distracted for a little while playing tug. So we get up in the mornings and we drink our coffee and keep her going with some tug for a while. There's Momo. After she's been distracted with tug for as long as possible, which is maybe an hour, hour and a half, then we gotta go for our walk. But first we have to get the harnesses on, which is its own sort of ordeal. Now we have harnesses on and we're heading out the door. From this point on, they're all incredibly well behaved. We have a short distance to walk on the road, so we keep everyone on leashes. Some days we get a bonus dog, and one of the outside dogs from the neighborhood named Jaqui will join us. She does follow us up the mountain. Once we get off the road, all the leashes come off.
Couple of puppers, huh, puppers? Couple of puppers. Whoa, whoa.
That's Jaqui. And they're so well trained and go in this mountain every day that they often lead us up the hill. They know exactly where we're going, and they'll make sure that we get there. This is Florinda and Blue. They're the two slowest, but they always make it. Here they are off leash, running and playing. We're almost at the summit. At the top, we stop for a water break. That's the village down below. And when we get home, they pass out. The rest of the day is just spent chilling out, eating. Sometimes they go lay in the sun, but mostly they're just really good doggies. And kitties. Little Felix here just loves to wrestle with everyone. Blue's an old guy, but he plays along. So the next time we see you guys, we're going to be back on the beach. Later this week, we are heading to Puerto Vallarta. We're going to spend the rest of July in Puerto Vallarta. For August, we're moving just a little bit north to a tiny beach town called La Cruz. And then for September, we're heading inland. It will be our first time visiting the city of León. And after that, I'm happy to say we're coming right back to Huayapam for October and November, and it's looking like December as well. So we're going to be rounding out our year with another 2 to 3 months here in Huayapam. So we're looking forward to being able to see Beanie and Pelu again, who was our house sit number 3 pets, as well as visiting this dog pack that we've really taken a liking to. I'd like to end with just a few more photos of these sweethearts.